really know if I can pull off these glasses, but Austin Butler sure does in this movie. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch or Pass. Today I'm going to talk to you about Elvis, Baz Luhrmann's new stylish biopic about Elvis Presley that is strangely told from the perspective of his manager, Col Tom Parker. Now, it's an interesting way to tell this, but you know, it came together. It was a little odd at first, but as the movie went on, I really liked kind of seeing his perspective, and it really lets you get a lot more Tom Hanks than you would normally. So in that respect, I liked it. It's kind of like like Amadeus, where Amadeus is really told from Consiglieri's perspective, even though the movie's about Amadeus. This is kind of similar. It's about Elvis, but it's told from the perspective of Colonel Tom Parker. And that gives you some interesting insights into their relationship, and it really kind of shows the push and pull that happened throughout Elvis's career. So my hot take is, I think you should definitely watch this. Look, I'm a Baz Luhrmann fan. I love Moulin Rouge. And this has a similar feel at times. It has bright lights, it has style, it has some frenzied moments and some really great musical performances. And the kind of standout is Austin Butler as Elvis. He just transforms into the king. It's really fun to see, and also just kind of like perfectly evokes that Elvis feel. The movie is a little bit long, and some of the storytelling can be confusing, but look, I liked it. It's 3 hours long. I was enjoying the entire time. So I definitely think you should watch it. So I'm going to tell you a little more of the film, a few things I liked and one thing I didn't like. So in Elvis, you have the story of Elvis through the lens of his longtime manager, Colonel Tom Parker. And you get to kind of see where he came from and also how Tom Parker kind of helped to get him on the public stage. Now, Elvis's rise seems to just be kind of like meteoric because of who he was and kind of the buzz that he had. But his manager did have a say in like how that happened, and you get to see the way that Elvis's career was shaped by his interactions with him, and some of the limitations that actually happened because of that. And then on top of that, you get to see Austin Butler as Elvis and see him perform some of the iconic songs of the King, like do some of his trademark gyrations and things like that. It is really fun to see, and because it's Baz Luhrmann, you get some really high energy, intense musical experiences as well. So as you can tell, lots of positive things about it. Things I liked about this movie. The first is the acting. I already talked about Austin Butler's Elvis. He did a really amazing job kind of recreating his mannerisms, his look, his voice. I mean, he basically transforms into Elvis. Actually, at the end of the movie, they cut to like some clips of Elvis proper. And it took me a little bit to realize that they had moved from like a grainy, like down sampled version from the movie into like actual footage of Elvis, and I think that's a testament to Austin Butler's recreation. But you also get a really great performance from Tom Hanks as Colonel Parker. Now, Colonel Parker is not the most likable character, but Tom Hanks like completely transforms him. He transforms his face, he transforms his manners. I mean, look, it's Tom Hanks. He's always going to transform, but in this, he looks very, very different. It's kind of like Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker just is completely almost unrecognizable. You still recognize like parts of his face, his eyes, and his voice, but other than that, like he is just a completely different person as Colonel Tom Parker. And so the combination of these two performances just really fuels this movie, and it's really good that they have great performances because the film is basically about their interactions and their relationship throughout Elvis's life and career. Second thing I really loved is the music. Look, this is a Baz Luhrmann film. You're gonna have great music, but a lot of that is on Austin Butler, and he does not disappoint. He recreates so many iconic songs, so many iconic Elvis performances are recreated by him, and just really have, I think, the energy that you would expect from the King himself. Like the recreations are flashy and energetic and frenzied. I imagine that is how they were in real life. I really love how kind of Austin Butler put everything into these performances because it's a major part of the film. There are a few other musical performances that are beautiful and intense, some kind of classic blues songs, and a little bit of kind of hip hop that's thrown in because it's Baz Luhrmann, so he's mixing a little bit of songs, but not actually as much as I expected. I expected some more remixes, and I expected some more kind of blending of genres, but I think for the most part, the music here is mostly Elvis music, and it is very, very well done. And the last thing I really liked is I call it the Baz Luhrmann style. Like from the start of this movie, from the Warner Brothers logo that is just completely rhinestoned out in a completely like over the top stylized way, you can tell that this is a perfect fit for Baz Luhrmann. Like the film itself has kind of his trademark energy and feel and style throughout. It has, some bright colors. It has some very dark moments, some very kind of dramatic moments. and some frenzied scenes where you get a lot of information. You get like some powerful music mixed in with different aspects of Elvis's life back and forth. It is an interesting way to tell the story, but it's one that kind of keeps your attention, and it's one that feels kind of like perfectly right for Baz Luhrmann. Like this feels at times kind of like Moulin Rouge, except with a real life story, and I really like that as well. Like Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies. I like seeing kind of how that feeling, how that look would translate into a real world performance. I think Elvis is the perfect choice for that. Things I didn't love as much, I mean, not much. Some people might complain about the length. Actually, like I didn't mind the length. I didn't find myself getting bored. I liked kind of seeing how Elvis's life progressed, and he had such an interesting life that I was never really bored. Even though the movie is about 3 hours long, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. Um, the one thing I didn't love as much, but again, it's minor, is sometimes a story can be tough to follow because during some of the hectic moments, it splices, things from Elvis's past with his present, and sometimes it felt like maybe it was things in the future, although I don't think it ever was. It had like some scenes that kind of were tough to follow because of how kind of quickly they progress through different moments of Elvis's life. Again, not a big deal. I still followed the movie. I still loved it, but just something to kind of keep in mind when you're watching it. So that is Elvis. It's coming to theaters on June 24th, 2022. Definitely think you should watch it. Just kind of buckle up and be ready for a long movie because it is a long one, but it is definitely an entertaining one. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And thank you. Thank you very much. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Thank you. Thank you very much.